However, shock froze me as the necklace was found in my room, in one of my drawers.
You steal now, Sally? Where did I go wrong with you?
I can't take this. I can't raise a thief. You're leaving my house today.
I cried and went on my knees, begging them desperately to not send me out. I'm not a thief. I didn't take her necklace. Believe me. Please, don't send me out. My pleas fell on deaf ears. Jake threw my things out and urged my parents to let me go. Of course, they weren't unwilling. I was sent out of my parents' home. Have you ever felt like the least favorite among your siblings? Or have you been shown by your parents that you're their least favorite child? How did it feel? I have experienced it, alongside hatred from my siblings, and I'll share it with you. My name's Sally, and I was born as the middle child. I had two siblings, Penny and Jake. Penny was 3 years younger than me, while Jake was 3 years older than me. My parents were quite wealthy. I mean, we had our own house, 2 cars, and they both ran a small company and a fashion brand. I couldn't remember my experiences before Penny was born, but I knew that as she grew, Jake liked her more. He would always hit and hurl insults at me on the slightest provocation, but Penny was his beloved sibling who didn't deserve any of that. Jake and Penny were very brilliant and would often top their various classes. I was brilliant too, but there was high competition in my class. I was always coming second or third, the top ones only having a slightly higher percentage than mine. But it didn't seem satisfactory to my parents.
They study well, that's why they're able to pass you. Study harder and top your class too. Your siblings do it so easily.
You're older than Penny, but your unseriousness is starting to make it appear the other way around. You should look up to Penny and Jake and learn from them.
I was a sensitive child. Words like that got to me, and it would make me cry. However, my family always got annoyed and called me a weakling. My parents will ignore all my birthdays, but will celebrate that of Penny and Jake, and will make me clean. After the celebration, according to them, I won't amount to anything, since I wasn't as intelligent as Penny and Jake. My parents were bad, but my siblings were insane, especially Jake. I had no idea what wrong I did to him. He was always so happy whenever he got me into trouble with either Penny or my parents. Once, I got mercilessly beaten up by Penny. I was 16 then, and she was only 13. I'd just had my bath after returning from school. As I went to sit at the dining table to enjoy my meal, Jake suddenly came up to me, wearing a devilish grin. "What do you want, Jake? I'm not in the mood for your annoyance, please. I'll appreciate it if you leave me alone now."
Oh, I'd actually come to tell you something important. But since you've asked me to leave, I have no choice.
I didn't say anything. I didn't even lift my eyes from my plate. He walked away laughing. I wondered what it was that he wanted to say. I became curious. The only time Jake ever came to me like that were times when he put me in trouble. Yes. Jake loved to see me getting punished. He would lie against me to my parents, and without asking for my side of the story, they would punish me. Jake was always at a corner, chuckling happily to himself. He also did it to Penny. He would lie about me saying something, and Penny, with her bad temper, would come and fight me. Penny had grown bigger than me. She would easily pass as my elder sister, and that made her even more comfortable bullying me. Whenever Jake liked to make Penny beat me up, he made sure my parents were going to return late so that I'd be asleep before their home. Just after I finished eating and attempted to stand up, 2 hands pressed on my shoulders, forcing me back to the chair. My heart raced. I knew it was Penny. No one else could do that. I turned and saw her behind me, holding a frown.
"How dare you? How dare you call me a fat pig in front of your friend?"
I didn't even have any friends, so how could I have said that about her? I tried to tell her what she heard was a lie. "I don't have any friends, Penny. I only speak to my classmates at school, and it's only a few of them. They sometimes don't even respond to me."
That lie isn't gonna work, Sally. You're a liar and a freaking pretender. All you do is hate on me and talk bad things about me because of your stupid jealousy.
I swear to you, Penny, I've never spoken ill of you to anyone.
You have. You always do. Jake tells me every time. Right, Jake?
Just then, Jake showed up again with a mischievous smile on his face.
Yes. I heard her on 2 different occasions. Her friends also told me. According to them, they felt sad for us because Sally's our sister, and all she does is badmouth us. Well, you especially.
Before I could speak, Penny slapped me. I screamed and fell to the floor, feeling the pain pierce my cheek. Tears quickly gathered in my eyes as I stared at them in disbelief. My own siblings. Jake is lying, Penny. I never said anything bad about you both. I don't have anyone to even say anything to.
Shut up, you liar. You're so filthy. I can see why Mom and Dad hate you. You're ugly, dull, and filled with jealousy and hatred for others. I'm going to make sure Mom and Dad punish you.
Next time, be careful of the things you say. It's unfair to speak so ill of people, especially your siblings.
I cried as I watched them walk away. I tried to go to my room, but I found out that they'd locked my door. I guess they needed it to be easier for my parents to punish me. I sat down on the cold kitchen floor until my parents returned home. Once they settled in the living room, my siblings tabled their lies before them. The next thing I heard was my dad calling my name loudly. Fearfully, I walked out of the kitchen and went to them.
Are you crazy? How could you do such things about your sister?
I'm so disappointed in you. How can you be such a hater? She's your sister. They're your siblings. I can't believe you.
I had no idea what they told my parents. Jake lied. I didn't say anything about them to anyone. He's lying against me. My tears and pleas weren't enough to save my ass from getting whooped. Jake held me while my parents hit me, and Penny stood away from us, smiling happily. They were cruel to me, but I couldn't hate them. I couldn't bring myself to hate them. I kept my distance and only spoke when spoken to. Jake and Penny didn't stop taunting me. Whenever my parents weren't home, they would insult me and follow me around, annoying me in any way possible and daring me to respond. Of course, I never did. I knew too well then to say anything. Responding would only mean getting whooped by my parents who never listened to me. Time passed, and I was soon done with high school. On my graduation day, Jake had an event in college. My parents chose to attend his event and ditched my graduation.
It's just a party. Jake's event is more important. He makes us proud.
I'd rather be at his event than be at your graduation when you won't even be announced as the best graduating student. It's too embarrassing.
Of course, I felt bad. Regardless, I enjoyed my graduation. I didn't speak to anyone, but I felt good being among the students. I had to stay at home for 1 year because my parents didn't feel the need to send me to college yet. Since they hastened my sister's education, she graduated 1 year after I did. My brother had skipped class that day to attend her graduation. My sister wasn't the best graduating students, but anyone could see the pride smiles on their faces as they clapped and yelled out congratulations to her. I cried a little when I went to the restroom. That night, when we arrived home, my parents gifted her a very beautiful necklace. I hadn't gotten anything. She shoved it in my face, telling me how she was our parents' favorite and how they loved her more. My parents heard all of that and simply laughed about it. 1 week later, Penny suddenly cried from her bedroom.
Someone has stolen my necklace.
The whole house went into panic as we began looking around for the necklace. Jake suddenly suggested for everyone's rooms to be checked. I didn't have any opposition. However, shock froze me as the necklace was found in my room, in one of my drawers.
You steal now, Sally? Where did I go wrong with you?
I can't take this. I can't raise a thief. You're leaving my house today.
I cried and went on my knees, begging them desperately to not send me out. I'm not a thief. I didn't take her necklace. Believe me. Please. Don't send me out. My pleas fell on deaf ears. Jake threw my things out and urged my parents to let me go. Of course, they weren't unwilling. I was sent out of my parents' home. They took my credit card and all the cash I had, leaving me stranded. It was a tough period for me. I roamed around streets, begging for money from anyone I came across. A few were kind enough to give me, but others simply shamed and pushed me away. Luckily, a good Samaritan found me and helped me. I told her all about what happened, and she felt so bad for me. She took me to her home and helped me with a job. After 2 years of doing multiple jobs and saving up enough money, I was able to move out and get my own apartment. The lady had become like a mother to me. I'd grown to love her so much. Life was tough, but I didn't give up. I worked so much harder. I was also able to begin my college education. After 4 years, at age 26, I started my fashion company. I hadn't heard about my parents' business for years, but I didn't care. I worked so hard to grow my company. Fortunately for me, people soon began showing massive interest in my brand. Soon, big brands began seeking collaboration with me. Life was beginning to go smoothly. By the time I was 28, I'd become one of the young rich ladies in the country. My business largely expanded with branches in 5 different countries. I built 2 houses. The kind lady who assisted me lived in one with her husband and children. We were all like a family. Surprisingly, my parents and siblings showed up in my house one day. Jake was on a wheelchair and Penny was heavily pregnant. My parents looked so old and tattered. They were seeking help from me. Jake had been rendered crippled in jail after a failed robbery attempt. Penny had gotten a great job, but had been scammed by her ex-boyfriend who'd pretended to be an investor. He'd not only scammed Penny, but also my parents. They'd already gone broke after spending a lot to bail Jake and have him treated. After Penny's ex-boyfriend absconded with their remaining wealth, they were reduced to church rats. They lived on the streets and fed by begging people. It was exciting to see them suffering. Perhaps it was karma for what they did to me, for all the trauma they gave me, the years I had to live with constant panic attacks, the sadness I felt, everything. They begged for money and a place to live, but I refused them. I would rather burn my money to ashes than help you all with anything. Get out of my house and don't let me ever see you again. They continued begging, my parents in tears, but I refused. I called on my guards who threw them out of my house. They were unfair to me throughout my life and never regarded me as their child. I don't have any reason to treat them well. Tit for tat. A few months later, I heard Penny had died during childbirth, and the news of her passing had caused my dad to have a heart attack, and he died as well. So my mom now takes care of my crippled brother, and she cleans people's houses to make a living. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.
Distracted and unable to defend myself, Jenny's father then punched me a few more times before I blacked out. When I woke up, I was alone in the hospital. Apparently, the bartender had called for an ambulance, which took me to the hospital because I had a concussion. I checked my phone and found only one message on it from Jenny, asking if I was okay. I replied that I was, but was very confused why her father had attacked me, so I called her up. "What is your father's problem with me?"
It's just Daddy's way of protecting me. He figures that if you can't fight him, then you can't protect me, and therefore you aren't good enough to date me.
That's insane. Why would he think something so incredibly stupid?
It's not stupid. It makes a lot of sense. If you can't stand up to him, then how can you protect me?
Hey there, my name is Sean, and I'm wondering if anyone else has a story similar to mine. I mean, I'm sure some people do, as I know other people that have dated someone and they couldn't stand who they were related to. Sometimes you encounter siblings that are unhinged, or occasionally even sometimes parents that are overbearing and constantly put themselves into the lives of their sons or daughters. Well, my story is about this girl named Jenny and her father that is flat out insane. Trust me, after I tell you what happened, you're going to understand what I mean, and hopefully you'll agree with me. I met Jenny about 3 years ago in a bar one Saturday night. The music was thumping, and everyone in the bar was dancing, and it was there on the dance floor that I saw Jenny. She was gorgeous, and I knew instantly that I needed to dance with her. So I made my way over to her and asked if I could join her, and she said yes. After that, we danced all night together, and I got her number and called her the next day. That one night led to several more, and before long we were inseparable. Until one day she asked if I would be interested in meeting her father. I took it to mean that we were beginning to get very serious, and that she wanted to test to see if I passed and got her father's approval, and honestly, I was more than willing. I truly did feel strong feelings for her, and I knew that I was in love with her, and so I agreed. Our first meeting wasn't too bad, I suppose, but it set the tone for what was to come.
Hey Daddy, this is Sean, the guy that I was telling you about.
Hi there. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Sir, are you trying to pretend to be respectful to fool me? This scrawny little piece of crap is Sean? He looks weak. What? No, I'm just being polite. I was just being nice. And I'm not scrawny at all. I doubt it. You look like a weak little kitten.
Daddy, be nice.
Oh, fine. I'll go easy on him, but only this once. He then punched me rather hard in the shoulder. I don't think he put all his weight behind it, but it did end up leaving quite the bruise. The whole interaction was odd, and I mentioned it later to Jenny, who just blew it off as normal.
That's just Daddy being Daddy. Plus, he had a few drinks in him, so he was a bit tipsy and acting a bit different.
So he's not always like that?
Not always.
Her tone didn't exactly fill me with confidence, but I had smelled alcohol on his breath, so I just accepted that she was telling the truth. That is, until 3 weeks later when I met him for the second time. I would have preferred we met him somewhere else, but Jenny told me that we would be meeting him at a bar that he liked to go to. I brought along money, hoping that maybe if I treated him to free drinks all night, that maybe that might make him like me. But by the time that we got there, he was already quite drunk. Oh great, you brought the weak little kitten. Whatever happened to George? Now he was a mountain of a man. You should have married him. He knew how to take a punch, that's for sure. A punch?
Yeah, George and Daddy were kind of drinking buddies and would get into bar fights sometimes.
How often would they get into bar fights? Why would that matter? Do you have a problem with that? Do you think less of me for it? Well, no, not at all. I've just never been in one before. Well, smart ass. Congratulations, because you're about to be in one. Just then, Jenny's father punched me in the face and then broke a bottle over my head. The glass cut me up pretty bad, but somehow I managed not to fall over, although I was pretty dazed. Distracted and unable to defend myself, Jenny's father then punched me a few more times before I blacked out. When I woke up, I was alone in the hospital. Apparently, the bartender had called for an ambulance, which took me to the hospital because I had a concussion. I checked my phone and found only one message on it from Jenny, asking if I was okay. I replied that I was, but was very confused why her father had attacked me, so I called her up. What is your father's problem with me?
It's just Daddy's way of protecting me. He figures that if you can't fight him, then you can't protect me, and therefore you aren't good enough to date me.
That's insane. Why would he think something so incredibly stupid?
It's not stupid. It makes a lot of sense. If you can't stand up to him, then how can you protect me?
I really didn't have the energy to deal with her nonsense, so I hung up on her and texted her that we were through. I wasn't going to date someone who expected me to get into regular fist fights with her father in order to prove that I was worthy of dating her. It felt like some kind of barbaric ritual that I had zero interest in. The next day when I left the hospital, I assumed that that would be the end of it. I was pretty sad as I really did love Jenny, but she was very clearly crazy, and her father was obviously even crazier. The hospital gave me the all clear and I headed home, and when I arrived, I found my apartment destroyed. Somebody had broken in and torn the place apart. All my dishes were broken, and most of my furniture as well. The windows that faced the street were shattered. I knew instantly who did it, and I called the police to report the crime. Sadly, they didn't think they would be able to find enough evidence until I remembered that my neighbor had a doorbell camera, and when I asked them, they provided the video for that day. And sure enough, Jenny's father was seen breaking into my apartment and messing up the place. I had him dead to rights, and so I pressed charges against him, and then got about to cleaning up my place. A few hours later, Jenny called me and sounded furious.
Did you call the police on my daddy?
Of course I did. Your father attacked me, and while I was in the hospital, he broke into my home and wrecked the place. He caused thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Well, you made him really angry when you showed that you couldn't take a punch. It's your fault. If you hadn't been such a weakling, then he would respect you and he wouldn't have trashed your place.
Are you insane as well? You know what? I don't care. Goodbye, Jenny. I wish I could say that I'll miss you. And then I hung up again and blocked her number. She had finally shown herself to be just as crazy as her father, and I wanted nothing to do with either of them. I assumed that at the very least her father would be arrested soon, and I wouldn't have to worry about him much longer. And so a few weeks passed, and I got my apartment all fixed up, and I was beginning to feel a bit safe again. I hadn't spoken to either Jenny or her father since I had hung up on her. Part of me worried that I would run into them one day, but I was convinced that that day wasn't going to be for some time. And then, while walking down the road on my way to my favorite coffee shop, I spotted them walking on the opposite side of the road in the opposite direction. I tried so hard to blend into the crowd, but I heard Jenny's father scream that he saw me, and when I looked, he was staring daggers at me from across the street. I felt like a matador, and he was a giant bull, and suddenly he charged at me. I truly didn't know what to do, when suddenly a car slammed into him and sent him flying 50 feet down the road. Of course, in his rage, he hadn't looked down the road to see if any cars were coming and had ran out into traffic and was struck. In a panic, I just kept walking down the sidewalk away from the accident, completely uninterested in involving myself in all that mess. Weeks later, I found out through some mutual friends that Jenny's father had been seriously injured in the accident, and as a result, would be stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, because he was paralyzed from the waist down. It also had to be an electric wheelchair, as his paralysis also greatly weakened his arms as well. The fact that he had been injured so badly did help him a bit, though. Since he was in the hospital, the police were able to track him down very easily, and they arrested him. However, the judge took pity on him and assigned him to 3 years house arrest. Having no one else to care for him, Jenny was forced to move in with him and basically be his personal chef, maid and nurse as well. I have to say, after the crap they put me through, knowing that she will spend the rest of her father's life caring for him and even helping him go to the bathroom. As for me, well, I did place restraining orders on them, but I also moved on with my life and started dating again. I just started seeing this new girl, and I have to say, although I haven't met her parents yet, the bar is pretty low, and I doubt that her father will be any worse. Thanks for subscribing. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.
Hey there, my name is Emma, and my life hasn't turned out the way that I originally had envisioned, but I would not trade it for anything in the whole world. Let me explain. Growing up, I had thought that I would go off to school, and when I graduated that I would meet someone amazing and that we would get married and be extremely rich and happy. My brother Kevin would make fun of me for this and tell me that I was living in dream world. Meanwhile, he would tell me all about how he would one day be a famous athlete and that he planned to own mansions, luxury cars, and travel the world while I would be stuck living in a shack. Unfortunately, our father didn't help with this because he encouraged Kevin to think that he would be a huge success. The two of them would travel all over the country, going from tournament to tournament. Kevin was on youth travel hockey team, and they were actually pretty good, but if I'm being honest, Kevin was only a mediocre hockey player. A lot of people kept telling him that he was going to be famous, but those were also the people that wanted to sell him the most expensive hockey gear and training. It was in their interest to keep him hooked in playing. Hey Kevin, so what is your backup plan though if hockey doesn't work out for you?
Backup plan? Why would I need one?
Well, there is a very real chance that you might not make it to the professional level. What if that happens? What will you do?
Well, that won't happen. I'm going to be famous, and then I'll rub that fame in the noses of people like you that didn't believe in me. Listen, I'm sorry that you're so pathetic, and that you'll never amount to anything worthwhile in life. But that's your problem. I'm sorry that you're such a loser.
It was incredibly annoying, both because he was so convinced of his own future fame despite being so mediocre, but also because he was telling me that I wouldn't amount to anything, and that he was going to lord over his success over me. Here was my own brother telling me that I was a loser, and that I always would be one. It was incredibly hurtful. The years passed and Kevin's dream never faded. I, however, focused on my own path and got accepted into college. And when I graduated, I was over the moon to find a job as an accountant for a large firm. I wasn't rich, but I was making a good living and just enjoying my life. The only real problem was that I was rather unlucky when it came to love and dating. I met several guys, but none of them really ever seemed like marriage material. Kevin, however, kept up with his training and playing and was much less picky about who he slept with. Then, one day, Kevin got a call from someone he had been with and was told that she was pregnant. He, of course, wanted nothing to do with her and told her as such, and so we didn't hear from her until it was time for her to give birth. There were complications and the woman tragically passed away during childbirth. Since she had no family, Kevin was asked to take care of the newborn baby boy, but he wanted nothing to do with him. As soon as I saw Justin, I knew that I wanted to take care of him. I loved him at first sight, and so I volunteered to adopt him and raise him as if he was my own. Kevin agreed and washed his hands of both Justin and myself, and he refocused all his energy on furthering his hockey career. A couple years passed, and Justin and I were incredibly happy. He was such a curious child and full of energy, and I truly loved him and wanted him to have the best childhood possible. I made sure to follow Kevin's career so that I could tell Justin all about his father when he was older, but then tragedy struck again and Kevin was injured during a game. The injury was so bad that it ended his career and left him using crutches for the rest of his life. After that, I fully expected to hear back from Kevin, but he contacted me even less. From what I knew, he ended up getting a part-time job in a grocery store and pretty much fell off the radar. As for Justin and I, we were incredibly happy, and when he was old enough, he asked if he could play hockey just like his father had, and although I was reluctant, I just couldn't say no.
Please, Mom, I really want to play hockey. It looks like so much fun.
I know, sweetie, but I don't want you to get injured.
I'll be extra careful. Please.
I couldn't say no to him. And he did end up being a natural. He was as comfortable on skates as he was walking around, and it didn't take long for the coaches to notice his raw talent. As he grew older, that talent only grew. And soon enough, coaches started to tell me that Justin really had potential to go far. This worried me as I had known that Kevin had been told similar things and that his own career had been ended early because of an injury. But Justin was so in love with the sport that I just couldn't say no. I did insist that he create a backup plan, though, so that if a career in hockey didn't pan out, that he had something to fall back on, and he agreed. He took a lot of financial and accounting classes as well as trained hard to play even better. I was so proud of him that his mind was sharp and not just his skills on the ice. Then the day came and he was drafted by a national team. Part of me was very worried, but I knew that no matter what happened, that he would be okay. Even if his hockey career didn't pan out, he had something to fall back on. However, the day after it was announced that he was drafted, my brother showed up at our house. Part of me suspected that he would, but I was secretly hoping that he wouldn't.
Hi there, guys. I know it's been a while.
A while? I haven't seen you in years.
I know, but I'm here now and I want to make up for lost time.
How convenient. Just when Justin is drafted.
That's not the case. It isn't? Well, why didn't you visit before now, Dad? You know who I am? Of course I do. Mom told me all about you. She never hid from me the fact that I was adopted and who my birth parents were. Well, thank you, Emma. I appreciate that.
Both Justin and I were skeptical about Kevin's sudden reappearance, but we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, and so we allowed him to come into our home and started reconnecting with him. It was going fairly well until one day I noticed that Justin was acting a bit down, and so I asked him what was bothering him. Hey, sweetie, what seems to be bothering you?
It's nothing really. It's just, well, it's little things.
Like what?
Well, like whenever I go out for a meal with my dad, he has not once offered to pay. It's always assumed that I will, and he has started to come to my practices as well, and he keeps saying things that wish that he wouldn't.
What is he saying?
He keeps saying that I need to do better and try harder, or else we'll end up poor.
Yeah, I can see why that is bothering you. I'll have a talk with him. I had a feeling that Kevin had only come back into our lives because he saw Justin as a way to live better. The fact that he just assumed that Justin would be a source of wealth for him was something that I was hoping wouldn't be the case, but Kevin's actions proved my suspicions to be true. The next day, Justin and I confronted him. Kevin, if you're only interested in being in Justin's life just so you can ride on his coattails and enjoy his success, then you need to go back to wherever you came from. Yes, he is your son, but he does not owe you anything.
How dare you? I'm not just here to take his money. I want to spend time with him. Then why do I always pay for us when we go out? Why did you ask me for money so you could buy a condo?
Justin hadn't told me about that, which made me annoyed, but at the same time, I wasn't the least bit surprised. A condo? Oh, Kevin, have you no shame?
It's just a condo. Besides, Justin will be raking in money soon enough. He can afford to help his old man out. Besides, he wouldn't even have a hockey career if it wasn't for me.
What are you talking about?
It's just a condo. Besides, Justin will be raking in money soon enough. He can afford to help his old man out. Besides, he wouldn't even have a hockey career if it wasn't for me. Well, Dad, that's just it. I'm not your son. This is my mother, and she has been there my whole life. Unlike you were never there for me. Not for my first day of school, and not for any other important moment either. And now that I am becoming a professional hockey player, you suddenly show up and expect me to give you money. Well, guess what? You can stay in my life, but I will never give you a single penny. What? But you owe me. No, I don't. I don't owe you a damn thing.
I could see Kevin getting very angry, but just as I was worried that he was going to do something, he stormed off. The next day, though, I went with Justin to go to his practice. As we were approaching the building, a hooded man ran towards us and was wielding a metal pipe. I was so afraid, but I saw the man coming and lunged at the man just as he was about to swing the pipe at Justin. We tumbled and rolled on the ground for a few seconds, but as we were getting ready to stand up, security from the arena showed up and restrained the man. As they pulled back his hood, they revealed that it was Kevin, and he had an angry and wild look in his eyes. Have you lost your mind, Kevin? You were seriously going to attack Justin?
Yes. If he won't share his wealth, then I'll punish him for being selfish. He'll have a crappy life like I was forced to have. If I can't have his wealth, then neither can he.
The security guards punched him several times as he fought to break free from their grip, and eventually police showed up and took Kevin away. That same day, we filed a restraining order against Kevin and even hired some security guards to follow us around. We did file charges against Kevin, and thankfully the judge in our case agreed with our assessment and sentenced him to a few years in prison. The judge had decided that there was enough evidence to support the fact that Kevin had been stalking Justin and I, and that he had intended to gravely wound his son. If I wasn't fast, I won't have been able to stop him before he hurt Justin. Regardless, even after he got out of prison, he attacked us again and ended up going back to prison, both because of the attack and because he violated the restraining order. I tried to understand what had made him so jealous and angry, and then I looked into his life. After he had been injured and couldn't play hockey anymore, Kevin was forced to try to get a job, but since he had no degree or skills, he was forced to get very low-paying jobs at stores and restaurants. Rather than learn from his mistakes, he grew bitter and turned to drugs and alcohol to make himself feel better, but they only fueled his resentment. And when he saw that Justin was getting to have the future that he had always wanted for himself, he became jealous, and so he tried to find a way to reconnect with him so that he could live off of Justin's fame. When we confronted him about this, he grew angry over the fact that we wouldn't share in Justin's wealth, and so he decided that if he couldn't have Justin's wealth, then neither would he. I've kept an eye on my brother over the years, and even tried to reach out on several occasions, but sadly, he has only grown more bitter as the years have passed, and his addictions have only made him both physically and mentally unwell. So much so that I expect to get a phone call every day that he has passed from an overdose. Justin, however, is doing fantastic. His team loves him and has nurtured his ability to play. In fact, his team is doing so well that they might win the championship this year. Even though I never asked, Justin makes sure that I am well taken care of and protected. He has even bought a massive house and wants me to move into the house on the same property so that I can have my independence while he can keep an eye on me as I grow older. So yeah, my life hasn't turned out like I thought it would, but I wouldn't change a thing. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.